Tales by the Brothers Grimm. I'll be reading the stories of Clever Gretel, Clever Elsie, Clever Hans, and the 4 clever brothers. The story of Clever Gretel. There was once a cook named Gretel, who wore shoes with red heels, and when she walked out with them on, she turned herself this way and that, was quite happy, and thought, "You certainly are a pretty girl." And when she came home she drank, in her gladness of heart, a draught of wine, and as wine excites a desire to eat, she tasted the best of whatever she was cooking until she was satisfied, and said, "The cook must know what the food is like." It came to pass that the master one day said to her, "Gretel, there is a guest coming this evening. Prepare me 2 foals very daintily." "I will see to it, master," answered Gretel. She killed 2 foals, scalded them, plucked them, put them on the spit, and towards evening set them before the fire, that they might roast. The foals began to turn brown, and were nearly ready, but the guest had not yet arrived. Then Gretel called out to her master, "If the guest does not come, I must take the foals away from the fire, but it will be a sin and a shame if they are not eaten the moment they are at their juiciest." The master said, "I will run myself and fetch the guest." When the master had turned his back, Gretel laid the spit with the foals on one side, and thought standing so long by the fire there makes one sweat and thirsty. Who knows when they will come? Meanwhile, I will run into the cellar and take a drink. She ran down, set a jug, said, "God bless it for you, Gretel," and took a good drink, and thought that wine should flow on, and should not be interrupted, and took yet another hearty draught. Then she went and put the foals down again to the fire, basted them, and drove the spit merrily round. But as the roast meat smelt so good, Gretel thought something might be wrong. It ought to be tasted. She touched it with her finger, and said, "Ah, how good fowls are! It certainly is a sin and a shame that they are not eaten at the right time." She ran to the window to see if the master was not coming with his guest, but she saw no one, and went back to the fowls and thought, "One of the wings is burning. I had better take it off and eat it." So she cut it off, ate it, and enjoyed it, and when she had done, she thought, "The other must go down too, or else master will observe that something is missing." When the 2 wings were eaten, she went and looked for her master, and did not see him. It suddenly occurred to her, who knows, they are perhaps not coming at all, and have turned in somewhere. Then she said, "Well, Gretel, enjoy yourself. 1 foal has been cut into. Take another drink, and eat it up entirely. When it is eaten you will have some peace. Why should God's good gifts be spoiled?" So she ran into the cellar again, took an enormous drink, and ate up the 1 chicken in great glee. When one of the chickens was swallowed down, and still her master did not come, Gretel looked at the other and said, "What one is, the other should be likewise. The 2 go together. What's right for the one is right for the other. I think if I were to take another draught it would do me no harm." So she took another hearty drink, and let the 2nd chicken follow the first. While she was making the most of it, her master came and cried, "Hurry up, Gretel, the guest is coming directly after me." "Yes, sir, I will soon serve up," answered Gretel. Meantime the master looked to see that the table was properly laid, and took the great knife wherewith he was going to carve the chickens, and sharpened it on the steps. Presently the guest came, and knocked politely and courteously at the house door. Gretel ran and looked to see who was there, and when she saw the guest, she put her finger to her lips, and said, "Hush, hush, go away as quickly as you can. If my master catches you, It will be the worse for you. He certainly did ask you to supper, but his intention is to cut off your 2 ears. Just listen how he is sharpening the knife for it." The guest heard the sharpening and hurried down the steps again as fast as he could. Gretel was not idle. She ran screaming to her master and cried, "You have invited a fine guest." "Why, Gretel, what do you mean by that?" said she. "He has taken the chickens, which I was just going to serve up, off the dish, and has run away with them." "That's a nice trick," said her master, and lamented the fine chickens. "If he had but left me one, so that something remained for me to eat." He called to him to stop, but the guest pretended not to hear. Then he ran after him with the knife still in his hand, crying, just one," meaning that the guest should leave him just 1 chicken and not take both. The guest, however, thought no otherwise than that he was to give up one of his ears, and ran as if fire were burning under him, in order to take them both with him. The end of Clever Gretel. The story of Clever Elsie. There was once a man who had a daughter who was called Clever Elsie, and when she had grown up, her father said, "We will get her married." "Yes," said the mother, "if only someone would come who would have her." At length a man came from a distance and wooed her, who was called Hans, but he stipulated that Clever Elsie should be really smart. "Oh," said the father, "she has plenty of good sense." And the mother said, "Whoa, she can see the wind coming up the street and hear the flies coughing." "Well," said Hans, "if she is not really smart, I won't have her." When they were sitting at dinner and had eaten, the mother said, "Elsie, go into the cellar and fetch some beer." Then Clever Elsie took the pitcher from the wall, went into the cellar, and tapped the lid briskly as she went, so that the time might not appear long. When she was below, she fetched herself a chair and set it before the barrel, so that she had no need to stoop, and did not hurt her back or do herself any unexpected injury. Then she placed the can before her and turned the tap, and while the beer was running, she would not let her eyes be idle, but looked up at the wall, and after much peering here and there, saw a big axe exactly above her, which the masons had accidentally left there. Then Clever Elsie began to weep, and said, "If I get Hans, and we have a child, and he grows big, and we send him into the cellar here to draw beer, then the big axe will fall on his head and kill him." Then she sat and wept and screamed with all the strength of her body over the misfortune which lay before her. Those upstairs waited for the drink, but Clever Elsie still did not come. Then the woman said to the servant, "Who just go down into the cellar and see where Elsie is." The maid went and found her sitting in front of the barrel, screaming loudly. "Elsie, why do you weep?" asked the maid. She answered, "Have I not reason to weep? If I get Hans, and we have a child, and he grows big, and has to draw beer here, the big axe will perhaps fall on his head and kill him." Then said the maid, "What a clever Elsie we have," and sat down beside her and began loudly to weep over the misfortune. After a while, as the maid did not come back, and those upstairs were thirsty for the beer, the man said to the boy, "Just go down into the cellar and see where Elsie and the girl are." The boy went down, and there sat Clever Elsie and the girl both weeping together. Then he asked, "Why are you weeping?" Said Elsie, "Have I not reason to weep if I get Hans, and we have a child, and he grows big, and has to draw beer here? The big axe will fall on his head and kill him." Then said the boy, "What a clever Elsie we have," and sat down by her, and likewise began to howl loudly. Upstairs they waited for the boy, But as he still did not return, the man said to the woman, "Just go down into the cellar and see where Elsie is." The woman went down and found all three in the midst of their lamentations, and inquired what was the cause. Then Elsie told her also that her future child was to be killed by the big axe when it grew big and had to draw beer, and the big axe fell down. Then said the mother likewise, "What a clever Elsie we have," and sat down and wept with them. The man upstairs waited a short time, but as his wife did not come back, and his thirst grew ever greater, he said, "I must go into the cellar myself and see where Elsie is." But when he got into the cellar, and they were all sitting together crying, and he heard the reason, and that Elsie's child was the cause, and the Elsie might perhaps bring one into the world some day, and that he might be killed by the big axe if he should happen to be sitting beneath it, drawing beer just at the very time when it fell down, he cried, "Hey, what a clever Elsie," and sat down, and likewise wept with them. The bridegroom stayed upstairs alone for a long time. Then as no one would come back, he thought, "Thee must be waiting for me below. I too must go there and see what they are about." When he got down, the five of them were sitting screaming and lamenting quite piteously, each out doing the other. "What misfortune has happened then?" asked he. "Dear Hans," said Elsie, "if we marry each other and have a child, and he is big, and we perhaps send him here to draw something to drink, then the big axe which has been left up there might dash his brains out if it were to fall down. So have we not reason to weep?" Said Hans, "more understanding then, that is not needed for my household. As you are such a clever Elsie, I will have you," and seized her hand, took her upstairs with him, and married her. After Hans had had her some time, he said, "Wife, I am going out to work and earn some money for us. Go into the field and cut the corn that we may have some bread." "Yes, dear Hans, I will do that." After Hans had gone away, she cooked herself some good broth and took it into the field with her. When she came to the field, she said to herself, "What shall I do? Shall I cut first, or shall I eat first? Oh, I will eat first." Then she drank her cup of broth, and when she was fully satisfied, she once more said, "What shall I do? Shall I cut first, or shall I sleep first? I will sleep first." Then she lay down among the corn and fell asleep. Hans had been at home for a long time, but Elsie did not come. Then said he, "What a clever Elsie I have. She is so industrious that she does not even come home to eat." But when evening came and she still stayed away, Hans went out to see what she had cut, but nothing was cut, and she was lying among the corn asleep. Then Hans hastened home and brought a fowler's net with little bells and hung it round about her, and she still went on sleeping. Then he ran home, shut the house door, and sat down in his chair and worked. At length, when it was quite dark, clever Elsie awoke, and when she got up there was a jingling all round about her, and the bells rang at each step which she took. Then she was alarmed, and became uncertain whether she really was clever Elsie or not, and said, "Is it I, or is it not I?" But she knew not what answer to make to this, and stood for a time in doubt. At length she thought, "I will go home, and ask if it be I, or if it be not I, they will be sure to know." She ran to the door of her own house, but it was shut. Then she knocked at the window and cried, "Hans, is Elsie within?" "Yes," answered Hans, "she is within." Hereupon she was terrified, and said, "Heavens, then it is not I," and went to another door. But when the people heard the jingling of the bells, they would not open it, and she could get in nowhere. Then she ran out of the village, and no one has seen her since. The end of Clever Elsie. The story of Clever Fawns. The mother of fawns said, "Whither away, fawns?" Fawns answered, to Gretel, who beheld fawns. "Oh, I'll behave well. Goodbye, mother. Goodbye, fawns." Fawns comes to Gretel. Good day, fawns. "What do you bring that is good?" "I bring nothing. I want to have something given me." Gretel presents fawns with a needle. Fawns says, "Goodbye, Gretel." "Goodbye, fawns." Fawns takes the needle, sticks it into a hay cart, and follows the cart home. Good evening, mother. Good evening, fawns. "Where have you been?" "With Gretel." "What did you take her?" "Took nothing. Had something given me." "What did Gretel give you?" "Gave me a needle." "Where is the needle, fawns?" "Stuck in the hay cart." "That was ill done, fawns. You should have stuck the needle in your sleeve." "Never mind, I'll do better next time." "Whither away, fawns?" "To Gretel, mother." "Behave well, fawns." "Oh, I'll behave well." "Goodbye, mother." "Goodbye, fawns." Fawns comes to Gretel. Good day, Gretel." "Good day, fawns. What do you bring that is good?" "I bring nothing. I want to have something given to me." Gretel presents fawns with a knife. Goodbye, Gretel." "Goodbye, fawns." Fawns takes the knife, sticks it in his sleeve, and goes home. Good evening, mother. Good evening, fawns. "Where have you been?" "With Gretel." "What did you take her?" "Took her nothing. She gave me something." "What did Gretel give you?" "Gave me a knife." "Where here is the knife, fawns?" "Stuck in my sleeve." "That's ill done, fawns. You should have put the knife in your pocket." "Never mind, we'll do better next time." "Whither away, fawns?" "To Gretel, mother." "Behave well, fawns." "Home, I'll behave well." "Goodbye, mother." "Goodbye, fawns." Fawns comes to Gretel. Good day, Gretel. "Good day, fawns. What good thing do you bring?" "I bring nothing. I want something given me." Gretel presents fawns with a young goat. Goodbye, Gretel. "Goodbye, fawns." Fawns takes the goat, ties its legs, and puts it in his pocket. When he gets home, it is suffocated. Good evening, mother. Good evening, fawns. "Where have you been?" "With Gretel." "What did you take her?" "Took nothing. She gave me something." "What did Gretel give you?" "She gave me a goat." "Where is the goat, fawns?" "Put it in my pocket." "That was ill done, fawns. You should have put a rope round the goat's neck." "Never mind, we'll do better next time." "Whither away, fawns?" "To Gretel, mother." "Behave well, fawns." "Oh, I'll behave well." "Goodbye, mother." "Goodbye, fawns." Fawns comes to Gretel. Good day, Gretel. "Good day, fawns. What good thing do you bring?" "I bring nothing. I want something given me." Gretel presents fawns with a piece of bacon. Goodbye, Gretel. "Goodbye, fawns." Fawns takes the bacon, ties it to a rope, and drags it away behind him. The dogs come and devour the bacon. When he gets home, he has the rope in his hand, and there is no longer anything hanging onto it. Good evening, mother. Good evening, fawns. "Where have you been?" "With Gretel." "What did you take her?" "I took her nothing. She gave me something." "What did Gretel give you?" "Gave me a bit of bacon." "Where is the bacon?" "Fawns." "I tied it to a rope, brought it home. Dogs took it." "That was ill done, fawns. You should have carried the bacon on your head." "Never mind, we'll do better next time." "Whither away, fawns?" "To Gretel, mother." "Behave well, fawns." "I'll behave well." Goodbye, mother. Goodbye, fawns. Fawns comes to Gretel. Good day, Gretel. Good day, fawns. What good thing do you bring? I bring nothing, but would have something given. Gretel presents Hans with a calf. Goodbye, Gretel, goodbye, Hans. Hans takes the calf, puts it on his head, and the calf kicks his face. Good evening, mother. Good evening, Hans. Where have you been? With Gretel. What did you take her? I took nothing, but had something given me. What did Gretel give you? A calf. Where have you the calf, Hans? I set it on my head, and it kicked my face. That was ill done, Hans. You should have led the calf, and put it in the stall. Never mind. We'll do better next time. Whither away, Hans? To Gretel. Mother, behave well, Hans. I'll behave well. Goodbye, Mother. Goodbye, Hans. Hans comes to Gretel. Gretel. Good day, Hans. What good thing do you bring? I bring nothing, but would have something given. Gretel says to Hans, I will go with you. Hans takes Gretel, ties her to a rope, leads her to the rack, and binds her fast. Then Hans goes to his mother. Good evening, Mother. Good evening, Hans. Where have you been? With Gretel. What did you take her? I took her nothing. What did Gretel give you? She gave me nothing. She came with me. Where have you left Gretel? I led her by the rope, tied her to the rack, and scattered some grass for her. That was ill done, Hans. You should have cast friendly eyes on her. Never mind, we'll do better. Hans went into the stable, cut out all the calves and sheep's eyes, and threw them in Gretel's face. Then Gretel became angry, tore herself loose, and ran away, and was no longer the bride of Hans. The end of Clever Hans, the story of the 4 clever brothers. Dear children, said a poor man to his 4 sons, I have nothing to give you. You must go out into the wide world and try your luck. Begin by learning some craft or another and see how you can get on. So the 4 brothers took their walking sticks in their hands and their little bundles on their shoulders, and after bidding their father goodbye, went all out at the gate together. When they had got on some way, they came to 4 crossways, each leading to a different country. Then the eldest said, Here we must part, but this day 4 years we will come back to this spot, and in the meantime each must try what he can do for himself. So each brother went his way, and as the eldest was hastening on, a man met him, and asked him where he was going, and what he wanted. I am going to try my luck in the world, and should like to begin by learning some art or trade, answered he. Then, said the man, go with me, and I will teach you to become the cunningest thief that ever was. No, said the other, that is not an honest calling, and what can one look to earn by it in the end but the gallows? Oh, said the man, you need not fear the gallows, for I will only teach you to steal what will be fair game. I meddle with nothing but what no one else can get or care anything about, and where no one can find you out. So the young man agreed to follow his trade, and he soon showed himself so clever that nothing could escape him that he had once set his mind upon. The second brother also met a man who, when he found out what he was setting out upon, asked him what craft he meant to follow. I do not know yet, said he. Then come with me and be a star gazer. It is a noble art, for nothing can be hidden from you when once you understand the stars. The plan pleased him much, and he soon became such a skillful star gazer that when he had served out his time and wanted to leave his master, he gave him a glass and said, With this you can see all that is passing in the sky and on earth, and nothing can be hidden from you. The third brother met a huntsman, who took him with him. and taught him so well all that belonged to hunting that he became very clever in the craft of the woods. And when he left his master, he gave him a bow and said, "Whatever you shoot at with this bow, you will be sure to get." The youngest brother likewise met a man who asked him what he wished to do. "Would not you like," said he, "to be a tailor?" "Oh, no," said the young man, sitting cross-legged from morning to night, working backwards and forwards with a needle and goose, "will never suit me." Answered the man, "That is not my sort of tailoring. Come with me, and you will learn quite another kind of craft from that." Not knowing what better to do, he came into the plan and learned tailoring from the beginning, and when he left his master, he gave him a needle and said, "You can sew anything with this, be it as soft as an egg or as hard as steel, and the joint will be so fine that no seam will be seen." After the space of 4 years, at the time agreed upon, the 4 brothers met at the 4 crossroads, and having welcomed each other, set off towards their father's home, where they told him all that had happened to them, and how each had learned some craft. Then, one day, as they were sitting before the house under a very high tree, the father said, "I should like to try what each of you can do in this way." So he looked up and said to the second son, "At the top of this tree there is a chaffinch's nest. Tell me how many eggs there are in it." The star gazer took his glass, looked up, and said 5. "No," said the father to the eldest son. "Take away the eggs without letting the bird that is sitting upon them and hatching them know anything of what you are doing." So the cunning thief climbed up the tree and brought away to his father the 5 eggs from under the bird, and it never saw or felt what he was doing, but kept sitting on at its ease. Then the father took the eggs and put one on each corner of the table and the 5th in the middle, and said to the huntsman, "Cut all the eggs in 2 pieces at one shot." The huntsman took up his bow, and at one shot struck all the 5 eggs as his father wished. "Now comes your turn," said he to the young tailor. "Ease the eggs and the young birds in them together again, so neatly that the shot shall have done them no harm." Then the tailor took his needle and sewed the eggs as he was told, and when he had done, the thief was sent to take them back to the nest and put them under the bird without its knowing it. Then she went on sitting and hatched them, and in a few days they crawled out and had only a little red streak across their necks, where the tailor had sewn them together. "Well done, sons," said the old man. "You have made good use of your time and learned something worth the knowing, but I am sure I do not know which ought to have the prize. Oh, that a time might soon come for you to turn your skill to some account." Not long after this, there was a great bustle in the country, for the king's daughter had been carried off by a mighty dragon, and the king mourned over his lost day and night, and made it known that whoever brought her back to him should have her for a wife. Then the 4 brothers said to each other, "Here is a chance for us. Let us try what we can do." And they agreed to see whether they could not set the princess free. "I will soon find out where she is, however," said the star gazer as he looked through his glass, and he soon cried out, "I see her afar off, sitting upon a rock in the sea, and I can spy the dragon close by, guarding her." Then he went to the king and asked for a ship for himself and his brothers, and they sailed together over the sea till they came to the right place. There they found the princess sitting, as the star gazer had said, on the rock, and the dragon was lying asleep with his head upon her lap. "I dare not shoot at him," said the huntsman, for I should kill the beautiful young lady also. Then I will try my skill, said the thief, and went and stole her away from under the dragon, so quietly and gently that the beast did not know it, but went on snoring. Then away they hastened with her full of joy in their boat towards the ship. But soon came the dragon roaring behind them through the air, for he awoke and missed the princess. But when he got over the boat and wanted to pounce upon them and carry off the princess, the huntsman took up his bow and shot him straight through the fart, so that he fell down dead. They were still not safe, for he was such a great beast that in his fall he overset the boat, and they had to swim in the open sea upon a few planks. So the tailor took his needle, and with a few large stitches put some of the planks together, and he sat down upon these, and sailed about, and gathered up all pieces of the boat, and then tacked them together so quickly that the boat was soon ready, and they then reached the ship, and got home safe. When they had brought home the princess to her father, there was great rejoicing, and he said to the 4 brothers, "One of you shall marry her, but you must settle amongst yourselves which it is to be." Then there arose a quarrel between them, and the star-gazer said, "If I had not found the princess out, all your skill would have been of no use. Therefore she ought to be mine." "Your seeing her would have been of no use," said the thief. "If I had not taken her away from the dragon, therefore she ought to be mine." "No, she is mine," said the huntsman, "for if I had not killed the dragon, he would, after all, have torn you and the princess into pieces. And if I had not sewn the boat together again," said the tailor, "you would all have been drowned. Therefore she is mine." Then the king put in a word, and said, "Each of you is right, and as all cannot have the young lady, the best way is for neither of you to have her, for the truth is, there is somebody she likes a great deal better. But to make up for your loss, I will give each of you, as a reward for his skill, half a kingdom." So the brothers agreed that this plan would be much better than either quarreling or marrying a lady who had no mind to have them. And the king then gave to each half a kingdom, as he had said, and they lived very happily the rest of their days, and took good care of their father. And somebody took better care of the young lady than to let either the dragon or one of the craftsmen have her again. The end of The 4 Brothers. I hope you've enjoyed this whispery sleep story, and you